All right, everybody. On today's episode of Sean's Garage, we're going to tackle a frame notch. Let's see how it goes. All right, everybody. If you watched the last episode, you'll see that I replaced the rear frame section on the Malibu here, and I told you plans about doing a frame notch after that and fender flares, because I ordered pretty wide rims and for the back and couldn't get the back spacing that I wanted. But with these rims, I don't have to do a frame notch, but I do have to do the fender flares. And I'm going to do the frame notch anyways. For one, for the future. For two, this will allow me to weld the inside of the frame where I did the rear frame section replacement. So I can get a frame all the way through, clean it up, weld it real nice. So let's get to it. Got a lot of work. All right, what I've done here is I marked my ends here. These little marks, the little mark I made, that's about the clearance that I need for the tires. And then the other mark, the long marks I made, you can't hardly see that one, but there's a mark there. I'll clean it up and make a better one. But those marks are the template, or the piece. I set the piece up like that and got it about lined up the best I could with the top. So this is about a guesstimation. This end's pretty good there. This end hits the radius, but you also have these plates to fill in the ends. So I'm thinking I'm going to cut it there, and hopefully she fits in there. plan B. I should have wore shorts, or shouldn't have wore shorts. Time for a new wheel. All right, I got a new death wheel. this rear section and the back towards the top was a real mother. It took everything I had to get that piece out. Stroke. Okay. I'm at an impasse. Alright, it wasn't easy, but I was able to get it. It's semi-square, close enough. Got some grinding to do. I'm going to grind it down to the weld, the seam weld, and then I'll have to trim that piece, and I'm going to trim it to where it fits inside. And that way I can weld on the outside. And then I'll have to trim the corners and those plates to fit on the ends. But that's going to be for another day. We'll continue this video this weekend. I've had enough. Alright, we're back. I got the notch basically cut out. Everything's good. Now I'm gonna clean up all this scale. You know, it's not gonna be perfect, but I'm gonna spray the inside of here with some rust converter and all that. You know, probably my plan is to get do a whole new frame eventually, but that's down the road. So this will work for now, but I got to grind all this area flat the best that I can, and then there's a couple places where like it's lapped. Here's not so bad because that weld will hold it, because your frame is actually two pieces. It's not an actual box. It's two halves welded together. So where it's lapped, I have this weld on top that's still good that I didn't get into, but over here you can see it's split a little bit on the new one, so I need to weld that up and then grind that flat and then I need to clean this up, grind in here a little bit. And this is here was pretty much the whole point for doing this frame notch, so I can get in here and weld inside here all the way around, because I couldn't weld on top. So now I can run a bead all the way around here, and for a little more extra strength. So that's the plan today. I already cut the other side out, so I'll have to do the same to that. So let's get started. Guess I gotta put my jacket on. Tearing me up.
Bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the noose off. And you cannot save me, cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guess. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got hard. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough though. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots, who are not as tough as me. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots, who are not as tough as me.
All right, everybody. Well, got everything cut, ground. Got some loose pieces where the frame had overlapped and came loose in welds. I got those kind of cleaned up enough, and I got to weld those down. So we'll show you what we got going. All right, there we go. Everything's ground. I've got the inside ground, got the flange ground underneath and everything. All the rest is ground, so I can get some good metal. Here's the joint from the old frame to the replacement frame, and I've got that. I ground that down with my die grinder, and I'm going to throw a bead around here, and then I've got a split right here. I'm going to fill that in, then grind it flat, and then I'll be ready to stick the or start mocking up the cap plate. I'll get that all set and ready to go, but before I weld it in place and everything, I'll get in here with a wire wheel, knock this surface rust down, and throw some rust corrective or rust converter spray on it. So maybe it'll help last a little longer until I finally get the time or the money to build a new frame. But alrighty. All right, there it is. Not the prettiest welds, but I think they're decent enough. Got that piece there that was loose, and then I got my seam back welded, top and bottom. So now I got weld all the way around it. That's how you can do it. Do your rear frame replacement and weld it fully with the body on the chassis. So next I gotta grind that smooth, and I can start fabbing up or fitting the plate. The plate that they send you is a little bit wider than the frame, so you could butt weld it if you wanted to, if you had the chassis or had the body separated from the chassis. But me, I'm going to cut it down to where it fits on the inside with about a 1/16 gap around as best that I can, and then I'll weld it from out here, and then that's how you do it with the body on. So stay tuned for that. That's up next. Here I had to bend the rear side of the plate to make the curve.
To get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WARM for a 25 cent.
Here I'm cutting out the general shape of the piece with a death wheel. twice an appearance in the garage. Now I'm doing some fine tuning with a grinding rock to get it to fit inside the frame rails with a 1/16 to 1/8 inch gap all around as best as I can. right, everybody, there we go. I got the plate all fitted up. Took a couple tries this side. It was easier than the other side. I did the passenger side first, but this side went a lot better. Less back and forth grinding, but the other side turned out pretty good too. So, but here's the one I've been showing you. So I'll fit it in there, and I have a little bit of a gap down here at the bottom, but I'll figure something out, a fill-in plate here or something, and no big deal. Little bit of gap, but I'll be doing some adjustment as I'm welding. Doesn't fit totally flat, so I'll be like doing a little bit of weld here, a little bit of weld there, some down here, and then I'll bend it, nail it there wherever it's flat, use a hammer and pound it in there. But for the most part, she's pretty good. Fits nice and in there. So next thing we're doing is welding and hammering. good enough. All right, everybody, there you go. That's one frame notch, well, two frame notches, one on each side, and two rear frame replacements with the body on a G-body. So it can be done. And like I said in previous videos, I am not a professional. I am not certified. I have been a certified welder before. I was certified for welding on train cars, so I do have some welding experience, and a little bit of fabrication experience from working in a fab shop, but it's nothing that you can't learn to do yourself with YouTube and a little practice and some scrap metal. So that's it for today's episode. There it is. I still got to make the end caps to cover those up, but I mean, if you get this far, you know, I'm sure you can figure out those end caps. So stay tuned for the next episode. That's going to be a fun one. I'm doing the fender flares. I guess I'll show you. So here's the fender flares. So I'm keeping this stock lip right here, but I'm cutting this out, freeing this up, cutting inside the wheel tub, and I'm bringing this lip out, and then I'm going to fill in that area and then fill inside the wheel tub and that area and that area. So I've been thinking about it for a long time, so we'll see how it goes. But till next time, that video won't be for a couple more weeks, but it's coming. So stay tuned and like and subscribe. You know, we got 12 whole followers. I mean, that's good stuff. 12. I mean, there's 12 people in the world that like what I do. So if you like what I do, like and subscribe.